My buddy Ian Johnson and I brainstormed engine swap options. How about we just upset everybody all at once and use a 3.8 V6 from a 2008 Jeep Wrangler JK, one of the most hated Jeep engines of all times. This could either be the dumbest engine swap in history or actually pretty dang cool. How are you doing, man?
Great, how are you doing?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man.
Come here.
What's
up, man? Yeah, there she is. This is Sushi, my 1981 Toyota pickup. I bought this truck sight unseen in Seattle, Washington and drove it over 5,000 miles back to Atlanta, Georgia. Since then, I've pushed this little truck to its limits in snow, rocks, and water. The old carburetor struggles on steep inclines and the transmission sounds like it's ready to quit any day. Yeah.
Poor door.
Poor door, yeah. I got new fenders for it already sitting at home. I just need to find a door and then eventually we'll replace all that.
It's like, yeah, you just
all right.
the hell out of it, didn't you? All right.
Sushi is sitting on a 33-inch BFG KM3 with a small lift trail gear 6-shooter knuckles with high steer arms. It also has a bigger and wider rear axle from an early IFS Toyota. The bed is shortened and it got custom sliders and bumpers from MFF Weld and Fab. Under the hood is a tired carbureted Toyota 20R motor with maybe 70 horsepower left, connected to a worn-out 4-speed transmission and a stock Toyota transfer case. All that is now getting replaced with an over 200 horsepower and 237 foot-pounds of torque V6. We're pairing the minivan motor with a 6-speed transmission, the NSG 370, and that again with a Jeep Rubicon 4-to-1 transfer case. We are basically undressing the motor right now. Pretty much done with it already. Most of the stuff is off. Couple of things left. Ian already took the radiator out, so that's gone. Right now, he's laying inside the cab. What are you doing right now?
Transfer case, transmission shifter. Like most of the stuff we don't need, so I've cut the starter wires because we're not using those. Disconnect the fuel lines, disconnect the heater hoses. We've left the heater control valves in place on the firewall because that we may have to use with the factory stuff. That's it.
Okay.
So now up underneath, as soon as we get the shifters out, we'll put it up in the air and we'll get it. Then we'll pull the transfer case, transmission, and then the motor.
Okay.
Easy peasy.
The fact that off-road TV icon Ian Johnson is helping me engine swap my Toyota at his shop is still unreal to me. Dude!
What's up, bro?
The lost son.
The stranger has returned.
What's going on, dude?
Dude, good, man. How are you?
You remember this dude? This is Andrew Bailey. If you've been watching the channel for a little longer, you should know exactly who this is. I can't wait for him to get back on the trails with us. It's been a while, man. How long have you not been in a video? Hallenbeck, yeah. Hallenbeck was probably the last time I saw you, dude. Giving us a hand on the old shitbox.
When you want to do things that piss people off a lot, I'm usually involved, so... Sounds like we're going to have fun doing non-adulting things this week.
Yeah, yes.
Ripping a really shitty engine out of the truck and putting another shitty engine in there. And pissing off the entire world.
All right, quick update. Everything around the motor, all the dressings are taken away, so the motor almost ready to come out pretty much. I just disconnected the transfer case from the transmission, got all those bolts out. Ian is doing Ian things.
When you make metal turn into liquid, you have a lot of fun.
Oh, that's my phone. Woo! I ordered food for everybody. Ian is still on a phone call. I got us some delicious birria tacos. This should hit the spot for today. I love birria tacos. Here behind the scenes of the Big Tire Garage. This is what it looks like. It's pretty cool. It's got the monster fridge, like a cool little chill area. Ian Stewart's off-road machine. How cool is that?
Ooh, got that queso, son.
Oh man, this is on point. They didn't travel well, but they're very, very good. Oh man, spicy sauce, and I'm just not seeing that.
You're just seeing your spicy sauce? Your automatic transmission fluid?
Back to business. Oh, it's just gunk.
Oh, it's all gunky.
That works.
Hey, Yahtzee.
Hey!
Do we need to take the transfer case off though, or can? It's so tiny. I feel like we could probably just keep it connected, huh?
Yeah, we can probably just throw a thing underneath it. Yeah, let's just do that. Let's just pull the bolts out for the transmission. It's gonna be awkward.
What are you snacking on?
A little Belvita chocolate snack packs.
Thanks, Marv. There we go. Perfect.
Oh god. Thought that's
Ecological disaster.
Currently fighting with getting the transmission out. We got to get the starter off, but the starter bolts are like way up in there, and like my finger has to bend 14 more times in order to get to that. But Ian says he's got a solution, so we're gonna trust Ian on that one.
this is a little 4-speed, right?
Yeah, it's just a 4-speed.
All the
Yeah.
blue pals.
When I was driving it, I was trying to find fifth. Found reverse a couple times.
I like this wire that comes here, Mark. Then it goes here, and then they use the wire itself to tie it up, just because it doesn't go anywhere. It's pretty awesome. This thing needs a pressure washer and about 55 gallons of degreaser, and it will be all right.
That almost worked out. And I got transmission all over my shoes. Motor is out.
You got a drain in here or a squeegee?
I got squeegee.
The squeegee? Yeah.
Get engine degreaser, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Get a few cans of that. Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out what the fuel line situation is. I think there is a fuel line coming up that, I mean, it's probably big enough. I'll have to double check it and see, because that's like, I mean, that's the fuel line coming up, and that's from the tank, and I think it's 1/4 inch. Let's pressure wash it tomorrow and then strip it.
The truck's all cleaned up. I went a little OCD on the undercarriage and wanted to get it like 100% clean until I noticed this is a Pacific Northwest truck. The whole undercarriage was sprayed with wax. So I only got the important parts, the entire engine bay and the transmission tunnel, and then everything else as good as I could. Next step.
So we'll build some tabs off the frame for the, we'll use the factory isolators off the 3.8.
Okay.
But we will have to do a cross member for the transmission. We'll probably just build a flat plate that bolts on where this bolted on.
Okay.
From the motor. So this is your normal transmission cross member. So it dropped way down, picked up your transmission right here. We'll build a plate that mounts here, so it'll bolt up to the bottom of the frame, it's like stock. And then we'll either run tube across or something across, and that will be your new cross member. When we get the transmission in there, we'll know, do we have to drop it down like this, or can it just be flat?
Okay.
That all depends on the floor of the truck. So the 6-speed looks, it's big. This is the only thing that worries me, is if you look here, like, normally a transmission bell housing, like, it drops down and then goes back.
Yeah.
This is kind of just all one size. We may end up having to drop the drivetrain down a little bit further than we want. It's not a big deal, because the further down we push the drivetrain, the more stable the rig gets.
Yeah, we're gonna lose some ground clearance off it.
But not a lot, because that cross member from the Toyota dropped down almost 8 inches.
Yeah.
So if we may have to drop this down a little bit. But this transmission mount is a lot thinner than the Toyota one. So we'll just play it by ear and see. We may get lucky and we may end up putting this all in there, and that Toyota crossmember may actually fit, and we just have to modify it.
That'd
which
be
would
awesome.
Pretty rad. But yeah, I'll cut those mounts off. Once we cut the mounts off, at least we can sling the motor in and see what it looks like.
Yeah, I'm excited for that moment, because none of us know what this is gonna go. What is this gonna look like?
It's gonna look like a 3.8 in a. I can show you what it looks like in a Jeep Comanche, but I can't show you what it looks like in a Toyota. But it can't be that much different, right? Right, Andrew?
By the time we're done with this, it is basically.
It's gonna look pretty much the same. We're gonna make this thing a Comanche.
Don't say that out loud, because everyone's mad that I haven't finished my Comanche yet. So if it gets finished, this will get finished before my Comanche, and everybody will be mad at me.
I was gonna ask you. That was the first question I was gonna ask you when I got here, and I saw it. And I was like, nope, I'm not gonna say anything, because
It's so
been
annoying.
it's a yeah.
The Comanche, the never-ending story from the Comanche.
You need to get it like 99% done, and then tear it down and redo the whole thing again with something different, just to piss the world off.
Yeah.
Make 'em mad.
Didn't that thing actually start in your old shop, like in a different?
Started at my house.
It's your house, right?
This was after he left the network, right? Like, it was the big deal. Like, Ian's
If I
gonna
didn't
go back to
have- if I
doing
didn't have-
something, you
If I
know.
didn't have one of those pesky things called, jobs, where I have to build trucks on TV, it would have been done by now. But for some reason, and then the best part is, everyone gets mad at me because they're like, "You never finished anything," and I'm like, 6 seasons of 4-wheeler and 12 trucks later, it's kind of like, now maybe we'll get back on the Comanche. We'll see.
Well,
what
the
we
thing about you that's different is you do most of the work yourself. Like, Like you, like one guy. Like people don't realize that. They think you have like when the cameras cut off, there's like 50 people running around doing stuff. It's like, no, that's not really the case at all. So
little gnomes that come out of the woodworks and just start hammering stuff away.
Like they're all hiding that. Like he has them a few like folks that live off in the container here in the center.
Oh yeah.
Hiding. It's like their little hiding hole. Like cameras go off. It's
don't give it all away. After all these long years of building off-road vehicles, Ian is still full of passion and love for what he does. I'm incredibly thankful for his friendship and days of hard work. He really didn't have to do this, but he did, because he loves it. What are we doing here, Ian?
I'm trying to tip the motor backwards.
Essentially balancing the engine into the actual vehicle. Balancing the engine inside of the vehicle. So like not balancing it, like squaring it up. So that way we have enough room for the bell housing in the back, enough room for radiator fan in the front, clearing motor mounts, clearing steering, all that stuff. So
pretty damn close. Well, I don't know what the inside of that oil pan looks like. I don't know if you could make it like a rear sump pan. You know what I mean?
Actually, you know what though? We could possibly use like a mini. The minivan engine is the same essentially. It might be using a three.
Because right now it's
make our own oil pan essentially. My next problem is Ian is like bell housing though is so big. We're gonna have to cut that tunnel out.
Andrew is correct.
We're gonna lose our bell housing area, right?
We're gonna pull the motor out, take those engine mounts off the block. Then let's go ahead and we'll just leave it on the crane and we'll just drop this lower oil pan off and look at what we're playing with here. Because we could do one of two things. We could either, if we needed to, like realistically, depending on what's in here, like in this motor, Marvin, there's probably a good chance that like the crankshaft doesn't swing down into this pan. So this is literally just a sump. I honestly think, Andrew, if we gut the interior, cut the floor up to fit the transmission, and we'll just put a new tunnel in, then we can get the engine back as far as we want, down as far as we want, and we're not like kind of you know what I mean? Like kind of half-assing it.
Yep.
If this was my truck, it's more work, but if this was my truck, that's what I would do. If this is my truck,
Cut the firewall and the floor.
I'd cut the firewall and the floor to make it fit.
And we can do it. That's not a problem.
It's just a lot more work.
Well, it's time in Ian's shop, right? Like we're trying to be respectful.
That's what I mean. Like,
I'll bet you if we cut the oil pan off, we can get the motor exactly where we want, and then we just build an oil pan to fit the truck. Yeah.
I don't care about cutting it up. I just think it's a lot of work for, you know what I mean?
You might be here a little longer than you expected.
Oh yeah, a lot longer than expected. Which kind of, I already made peace with that fact, but the first complications are here, just as expected actually. We have a game plan for tomorrow. So what we're gonna do is, Trail Gear hooked us up with a rock assault housing for the front. So that gives us the option to move the front axle an inch further forward. They also sent us a new leaf spring hanger, aka cross member, as you can see here, which those things in combination with the new power steering box that also comes with new brackets will allow us to push the whole front axle, what do you think, in an inch and a half forward, something like that?
We're gonna try inch and a half, inch and 3/4.
Inch and a half, inch and 3/4, move the front axle forward, which will not only give us more clearance and allow us to not make the oil pan as small as we thought we had to make it. So that will solve that problem. Oil pan can be a little bit bigger, a little bit more capacity. So once we know where the front axle is going to end up and the steering box is going to end up and all that, then we're going to make a new oil pan for the motor, which then will give us all the clearance that we need to put everything into place. It will also benefit me because once the front axle is pushed forward, my tires are actually not going to get into the fender as bad as they do right now. Give me a better approach angle. So yeah, that actually makes me really happy. All right, day 3. Overall, what do you think so far? The problems that we've been running into now, as expected, worse than expected? Like, what's your overall feel of this project now after yesterday, basically?
I wish I could have reused the factory engine mounts off the Jeep because they're nice. Really, they got a lot of isolation in them. It kind of makes it a little bit of a pain because I'm going to build all new mounts. But I mean, this is standard engine swap junk.
Yeah.
You got to cut and shove to fit until it all fits, Marvin. That's what you just do. Just keep cutting and shoving.
How many engine swaps have you done in your life?
Oh God, hundreds. Every engine into every vehicle, every make of engine into every other vehicle that you can ever think of. I went and did that once. So yeah, so I've done a few. So this is pretty normal. The nice thing about the 4-wheel drive stuff is there's no cross member to deal with.
Yeah.
So I mean, because I've done everything from off-road trucks, 2-wheel drive cars. You know, I got my son's BMW wagon. We did the LS swap in it. All kinds of stuff, man. There's tons of cars. So, yeah, this is what you'd expect. I'm kind of excited that we're moving the axle forward. To be honest with you, I think it's going to be better in the long run.
Yeah, it will keep the tires from away from the fenders a little bit more.
You can see where they were kind of mangling this up already.
Oh yeah.
You kind of tried to fix it with a sawzall and a hammer, but it didn't work. But yeah. Yeah, so you start tearing that axle down, I'll start cutting and chopping, and then life will be good.
Sounds like a plan. All right, let's get to it. Nasty. The last 2 trips I took with the Toyota were both involved water. One was Carpenter Cove, the other one was River Rock. So this thing has seen some water, as you can tell. It is baby poop in there. Mr. Mark Hendricks just showed up. For those that have been following the channel pretty much since day one, that guy has been a part of the channel pretty much since day one. So a white LJ. If you guys remember very first Rainer Rocks, all the very first Windrock trips, AOP trips and whatnot, he was part of all of those. Back to business. The front end is pushed further forward because the shocks were on top of the housing right dead center. Here you can see how far it's pushed forward. So now we're going to throw the motor back in there and see how we're clearing everything now. What do you think, Ian? Think we bought a bunch of extra space with this?
I think we bought about 1.5 inches, 2 inches.
Well, yeah, but like now also the new housing doesn't have this ginormous truss on it, and the pumpkin is on the other side.
Get an idea here in a minute. And whoa. Ooh, it does look better. Look at it. I think we may have to actually come down. Well, we can fix that by pulling that box, pull that down. The only question we got right now is this floor. Come down a little bit further. Oh, there's something on the back of the motor that's... Keep coming down, keep coming down. Whoa. So I think the plan right now is simply going to be to... whoever assembled this axle first didn't flip the leaf spring pins, so I'm going to undo the leaf spring pins, flip them over so they're in the right way. We can go ahead and weld in the front cross member. We are dealing with some missing leaf spring bushings that we got to figure out. We'll have to build some shock mounts. So I'm going to do that. Marvin's going to assemble the axle, and then I'm going to work on the motor plates that are going to be the start of our motor mounts. We're going to build custom motor mounts. So I'll start on custom motor mounts. Marvin will get the axle together, and then we'll just be able to bolt all together. That easy.
There you go.
It'll make that sound good.
Perfect. Trail Gear sent me a set of Longfield axle shafts for this guy, which is awesome. And I still had a set of RCV Performance axle shafts for my stock axle. So what we're doing now is we're pairing the Longfield axle shafts, the long side, with RCV outers. So that, I hope, will bring a little bit of extra strength into the game. So yeah, in order for all this to not rust, even on the way home already, we're gonna spray it with some Seymour paint. Big Rig Flat Black. This stuff is amazing. So I used on my front bumper, sliders, rear bumper. So we're gonna cover the axle and that stuff really quick, let it dry overnight, so it's ready to bolt in tomorrow morning. I'm really not a paint genius, but with this stuff covers and lays down so freaking good. It's insane. I love this paint. Like even my bumpers until today look flawless. Big shout out to Seymour Paint. This stuff rocks. You use it too, right?
I love that stuff, man. I like that it doesn't run.
No, it really doesn't. You don't have to be a pro to use this stuff at all.
It's 2 active confirmed tornadoes in this overall region.
We have heard about 20 to 25 households that have been severely affected by the tornado.
Quick disruption. There's a tornado warning here in Mount Pleasant, Tennessee.
Tornado! Take shelter now!
You think it's gonna hit down here? Like, how bad is it right now? They were already seeing some tornadoes right near here?
There's already spinny winds on the ground about 5 miles from here. So that's spring in Tennessee. Welcome to Tennessee, Marvin.
If shit hits the fan, Ian got a shipping container here. Ian has experience with that, so we're gonna take all measurements here. Guys, there is a party going on outside already. We want to get this knocked out really quick, and then I'm gonna head to the closest hotel and call it a night here because it's getting real out there. I've never experienced a tornado. I live in Atlanta. We don't have that kind of stuff. I don't want to be here when that happens. Oh, it's dark out here, guys. Oh God, look at this, guys. It was just hailing and raining like absolutely crazy, and now it's completely still. Absolute silence. No more rain, no more hail from one second to another. Look at the clouds back there. Oh boy, oh boy. Shit. The things you experience here at the Big Tire Garage. It's crazy to see how fast the clouds above us are moving. I mean, I don't know if you guys can tell. Wow.
So that's what we're in right now, that little red spot. But then tonight it kind of goes away. But then the good news is as it gets nasty everywhere else in the state, it stays not bad around the little Big Tire Garage, little blue dot. Right there it'll get bad. That's around 9 o'clock. We'll see some bad weather around 9 o'clock tonight. Ooh, that's 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock?
10 o'clock, you're right in the spinny wind zone.
Good morning.
What you doing, Mr. Marvin?
Chasing storms. No.
You want to see the road to my house?
Yes. Mr. Ian said there was a tornado, what, 100 feet from your house last night?
100 feet behind my house. Yeah. Here.
That is wild.
I had to abandon my truck and walk to the house, and this is what I had to walk through.
Oh my God. Those are big, big alive trees. Like that's not
even half of it. That's just
anything happened to your property? No?
100 feet behind my house, didn't lose it.
Oh my God.
That's my neighbor.
That is so crazy that it affects it like that, and
that's how they work.
I'm surprised that it makes such an impact versus being in the tornado versus 100 feet away from it. I thought like the force of the circulation will mess up everything.
Well, it wasn't on the ground. It had skipped above us.
Man, that's crazy.
It'll be 2 weeks before I get power at my house.
No.
Oh yeah. Here.
2 weeks before you get power?
Yeah. Check this out. Look, this is.
Oh man.
This is
like, so what's the plan? Like, how are you gonna do 2 weeks with no power?
Living in the shop, brother.
Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean with the family?
Yeah, they'll all move in here. Look at that. Oh. That's the power lines that go. So this is about a mile from my house. But yeah, this is what they're dealing with right now, because it ripped that right out of the ground, and the one on the other side of the hill's gone too. So it went right through this open area right here. That's the road. You can see that. You can see where it went through, right?
Yeah.
This is all gone, and there's some up there. But yeah, this is the main path of it right through here. Crazy.
Rodian is coming today.
Yeah.
Cool.
I got a text message from him.
Yeah. Seymour Payne himself. That turned out really nice. Okay, day 4 here at the Big Tire Garage. Ian is gonna run to the parts house and get leaf spring bushings and run home really quick and deliver fuel to his family so they can run a generator to have some sort of power at the house. I'm gonna start painting the cross member, aka the leaf spring hanger here from Trail Gear. We have one more bottle of Seymour Big Rig paint, the same paint that we used for the axles, same paint that I use for bumper sliders, etc. Love that stuff. Okay, front end is completely assembled again. Unfortunately, one of the gaskets on the passenger side for the hub didn't want to cooperate. So now we got Justin and Andrew here doing some old hot rod tricks with a cereal box.
Paper gasket, man.
Let's see if we can get by. What else would you use a cereal box for? So while Justin is finishing up the gasket, we got a guest that just showed up. Mr. Rodian from Seymour Paint, one of our greatest partners for this year, and also the guys that supplied the paint for the new Jeepster paint shop, by the way. All that is thanks to these guys. Rodian came out to visit us to see what we're doing here with Sushi, and he brought something, a brand new Bedliner, the most toughest bedliner out there. It is a 2-part coating that is completely DIY, that anybody can spray in their garage, in their shop, wherever you are. You don't need some crazy equipment in order to do it, and it is insanely tough. We got the competitor here, and then we got the Seymour bedliner on this. Let me see that screwdriver. This is nuts. So, competitor product, right? Yep. You can see, there you go. Competitor product right here. Now, we're gonna do the same thing again with the Seymour one. Nothing. Zero. That is crazy, especially for our use. In our trucks, we haul all kinds of sharp, big, heavy metal objects. My bedliner in my Jeep is literally something that I have to redo every 2 or so years. We're gonna spray this stuff out all over the truck bed. Just walked in here, long night, I didn't make it to bed till 2 a.m. Ooh, man, that looks good. Wow, still a little tacky, huh? Okay.
Only been a few hours.
Okay, that's true, honestly, it's true. It is not completely cured later, but man, that looks good. It looks just like grip tape. It's the only way I can describe it. It has a good shine to it. It doesn't have that, that sticky, I don't know, greasy, whatever look to it.
High gloss, like that.
High gloss, yeah. So nice. How long does it take to be safe?
Full 24 hours for it to dry, and then you'll be able to use it lightly, and then a full cure about 7 days.
Perfect. All right. Exciting moment. We're going to throw the motor in for hopefully, maybe not the exact last time, but at least the last.
We know where it's going to go.
Yeah, exactly. In its final position, in its new home.
So this is the original mount. So this will be on the frame. We'll cut a plate that just goes down off of this
Yep.
to there, and then we'll just add gussets on either side. And then that's your motor mount. Easy peasy.
Motor is in its place. Ian welded cross members to the front and a ratchet strap in the rear just to hold it where it's supposed to be. Transmission is in its place. Transfer case in its place. The cool thing is it literally lines up with the stock Toyota cross member. So everything is pretty much in the same place as it was before with the Toyota running gear in it. Hammered the floor in, and now everything is at home and everything fits. This is freaking amazing. We just measured for drive shafts, so we're gonna give Tom Woods a call, get drive shafts on order. What do you think? So with all your engine swap experience, where would you rank this from easy swap to really hard swap?
The hardest part of this one's been the oil pan.
Yeah.
So the oil pan, that's just, I was worried about that, but I'm not super worried about it, but I'm glad that we kind of had that front axle move forward a little bit. Normally on these, when you do this passenger side to driver side drop, you end up with issues with the front drive shaft, but we don't have that right now, which is shocking. Front drive shaft is actually going to clear the factory cross member and go down to the front axle. Perfect. So we're in great shape. So the fact that everything's lining up, like you said, almost where it was, it's kind of scary. And the coolest thing is that the shifter's in the stock hole.
Yeah.
That's what I like the most. I wasn't on board with this manual transmission thing, Marvin. I wanted an automatic, but you wanted manual, and now that it's in there, I think it's cooler.
Hell yeah.
It seems silly, but I like that there's space behind the motor.
Yep.
There's still tons of room in the front. You know what we need to do right now, though, Marvin?
Put a hood on?
We need to check the hood.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know how we'll check it? Because we're TV guys, we get to do that. Put your action cam in here, and then when we put the hood on, we'll see how much space we have up there.
There you
That's
go.
how I always do it. All right, so set it in place. Okay. Bring it down slow.
I'm gonna head out and have lunch with everybody. Justin J. Andrews Wrecker. Isn't this thing cool, man? I absolutely love this truck. Old J20 Wrecker. Belonged to a Ford dealership for years. Old classic daylighters on it.
Easy. All right. Come on, Marv. Sorry, Marv. We're gonna be talking.
Super comfy.
3-speed, Justin? 4-speed.
4-speed.
All right.
What motor is in it?
360.
360. AMC 360.
Still the original points ignition, 2-barrel carburetor. It's all the way it was. The way it should be, in my opinion.
Where did you find it?
I actually found it in Florence, Alabama, on the side of the road. I
truck, man. What a truck. I am in love. It's time for some lunch. Mount Pleasant Grill. This place is way too nice for us. Lunch just arrived. Look at that. Buffalo chicken sandwich, and it looks phenomenal. Oh, I can hardly walk. That was so much food. Man, that was delicious though. If you guys are ever in Mount Pleasant, definitely check out the Mount Pleasant Grill. This was phenomenal.
Oh, we should have got milkshakes. That would have proved that we would have done nothing. We would have
Can we go get one? Let's go get one.
That would be straight in a food coma.
Yeah, and then you have to wheelbarrow me out of here. Tom Woods Drive Shafts, greatest drive shaft manufacturer on the planet, just sent me a set of brand new drive shafts that are bolting on to the Toyota axles on one side and the Rubicon transfer case on the other side. Up next, for the rear, in order to change the flange, we gotta do ring and pinion in this thing anyways. Revolution Gear and Axle set us up with a brand new set of ring and pinions for this thing, which is great. I'm gonna take the third member out. In order to do that, I already took the tires off, pull the axle shafts out, then take the third member out. And then we're going to do all of that at once, flange and ring and pinion. What are we doing, Ian?
We are welding up the motor mounts that we got done building. The transmission mounts all done. These were all mocked up in the truck. So now that the motor's back out for the last time, we'll take these off the motor, throw them on the bench and weld them up, let them cool and paint them. Boop, 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 boo. Welded.
Next is steering. So we got a package here from RPM Steering and Suspension, who usually don't make Toyota parts, but if you ask them nice enough and give them the measurements that you need, they can make things happen. We also got a brand new power steering gear from Trail Gear sitting right here that's going to go in. It's already prepped for hydro assist, so the one that we have in it is not, so we're just going to switch those out. Going to take everything that's on it off right now and then throw the new stuff in.
She's in for good.
Big moment here. Ha! Look at that. She's in his home.
She's in for good. Woo! That's a good feeling. All right, good stuff.
So next matter of action is put RPM steering on this thing, huh?
RPM sent us all new hardware. This is all 9/16 hardware, so you just got to drill that out to 9/16, that out to 9/16, and there's that out to 9/16. Yep.
Unfortunately, we don't have enough real estate here on the high steer arm for both offset heim joints to fit next to each other.
I think the cleanest way to do this, we'll cut a spacer, raise this thing up, and just put a spacer in there.
I'm okay with that. But if this side now flexes up, are those two not gonna bind?
No, because this all flexes together. If we have time, when this is all done, I may cut a piece of like 3/16 plate that will bolt in here, and then weld down here. So we'll put these two heims into double shear.
Ooh, that would be nice.
I mean, it's really not going to add a lot, because it's literally just going to be a plate piece of steel that's going to go like this and down like that, and we may be able to put a brace on the outside of it. But it'd give you a little bit of insurance, you know. So, but with that's a later thing. Let's do
I like it.
Done. Easiest fix.
Picasso. So I'm getting ready to install my brand new South Bend clutch kit. South Bend clutch is really well known for the truck and diesel market. They pretty much dominate that market. They built some of the strongest clutches in the industry and are now taking over the Jeep market. And since Sushi is pretty much a Jeep now, I'm pumped to try this thing out. Super heavy duty, extremely good looking, really, really high quality stuff, made in the USA. And can obviously take a beating. So I'm excited to try it out, and yeah, the little Sushi's gonna need it because we're gonna be hard on her.
Just make sure you can keep moving that in and out. That means your clutch is lined up correctly.
Transmission is in its final home. Transfer case in its final home. Cross member is installed. RPM steering is installed. Ian is working on the hydro assist mount right now, and I'm putting in some sweet Tom Wheezy drive shafts. Autometer sent me a bunch of Jeep branded Autometer gauges. This is insane. Old gauge cluster is out, and Ian is already playing with the arrangement of the gauges and what we can come up with. And this I would love.
Yeah, I think we can do it. So like when it's in there, the gauges are gonna kind of be leaning back a little bit, but I'd rather have them leaning back than lose this mount.
Yeah.
Like we could lean them up a little bit, but the problem is when the further we lean them up like this, the less space we have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As we leave them up.
I'm pumped. Jeep gauges for sushi.
Jeep gauges in a Toyota. This thing's become more and more Jeep every day.
Yep.
Boom. Gauges. Pow. I think that looks pretty good.
Super nice.
Yeah.
One of my biggest concerns was wiring, because that could just completely explode our time frame. And then Ian pointed me towards Hotwire. Hotwire actually makes a full harness kit for a 3.8, a full-on standalone system. Comes with an ECU. Everything is plug and play. Lay out everything the way we need it. Put a hole in the firewall. Route it through the interior. ECU is going to live in the interior. And that's pretty much it. Hotwire definitely puts out a great product. I'm pumped to have it in Sushi. And just one less thing to worry about. And this is going to save us a lot of time.
And I actually like a factory ECU almost better than an aftermarket ECU. The aftermarket ones are good, but the factory ones are so much nicer to have.
Ian is cutting my oil pan apart.
Cut it into a big giant chunk. Yeah. So we'll have to move the pickup tube back a bunch. But I'm actually thinking what I'm going to do is, like, if this was a street car,
Yeah.
I'd patch this with, like, this is actually pretty thick. Like, I think this is thicker than like 16 gauge. But since it's an off-road car, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this out of 1/8 inch plate and make like an 1/8 inch plate. And it's almost like a skid plate / oil pan. You know what I mean? Like, this
I like it.
I mean, this is strong enough, probably. I can weld 1/8 inch this. It'll honestly make it easier to weld. Less chance to blow a hole through it.
Yeah.
And then it'll be stronger. All right, we're going to try this. We're going to hot wire the hot wire.
Ooh, I hear noises.
That's your fuel pump.
Well,
It's loud.
hell yeah.
That was pretty awesome. All right. Now all that's left is to finish it up.
Yes.
Gravy. Okay, that's awesome. So fuel system works, electronics work.
Yeah, now it's just button everything up. We need to fix the windshield wipers, add power bank, transfer case shifter mount, fan shroud, brake lines, new gears in the rear, revolution gear and axle, send out a new gear set for the rear, gotta make an exhaust, install the rear Tom Woods drive shaft, alignment, bleeding brakes, bump stops, shock mounts, and then take it for a test drive. That's what's left. Every time we cross one off the list, another one gets added. But everybody that has built something before knows exactly what I'm talking about. Check out this amazing mod to the high steer arm that Ian has done. Man, this thing has turned out really cool. He extended the high steer arm by about 1 inch, so we have plenty of clearance between the two heims. Then he built this freaking amazing bracket over here. Obviously tomorrow all this gets welded together, but it's pretty much a double shear now on the tie rod end. On the drag link we left it single shear, but yeah, look at this. Super cool. I just got a call from my buddy Justin Jandrew. I was suspecting that my Ford F-250, my tow rig, had a blown head gasket, and yeah, the worst case scenario came and the head gasket is actually blown. I was hoping it's something else and he can just take a look at it and fix it and I can drive it home. So I don't have another choice other than driving Sushi over 400 miles home. Obviously the truck doesn't get done in time now. That is going to be a whole ordeal. He's going to take care of that luckily for me, but that's going to be, you know, way more time than I'm planning on staying here. So that's going to be wild. I hope this works out. I hope I don't get stranded on the side of the road. We had a bunch of stuff with family at home. Had 2 grandmas pass away, or my last grandma and Courtney's last grandma both passed away within a week from each other. So I have a bunch of personal stuff that I have to deal with at home. Fly to Germany here shortly, get tickets booked. I mean, everything is coming together now. So we're about to fire up for the first time with its new exhaust. good. Fifth. Oh, that's a new one. That's a new gear. We haven't had this gear before. And I got another one of those. Look at this. Bam. Yeah, clutch feels perfect. Not too soft, not too stiff. Feels really good. We are close. We're very, 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 very close. Takes a little bit of extra pushing, but it works.
This into your HP tuners.
Ian was using HP Tuner's VCM Suite software on his laptop to monitor everything on our first test drive. She's torquey, that's for sure. That's not very much clearancing. The ram mount is getting into this, which we knew earlier. We already clocked it as far as we could, but it clocked itself back. Let's get this thing back inside or see what we can diagnose out here.
I think it just blew the line apart.
Oh yeah?
It's still fully clamped, and the line is like all swole up. Actually, I think it pushed past the clamp. The line's all swole up. It's under so much pressure.
All right. Well, new fuel pump is already on the list. I'm not driving this thing home. It's just not, like, I'm going to be calling Ian every 15 minutes for something. And
so, I mean, there's a couple odds and ends. I mean, we want to get the gauges working. We didn't have the right fittings to put the sending units in the motor, so that's got to get here. I'm not happy with the fuel pump. It's not internally regulated, so it's making all kinds of goofy noise, and I think it's like over pressurizing the fuel rail, and that's why it's running rough. So got to get that taken care of. And then I'm not real happy with when it was up on the lift and we put the ram in. I was all excited about where the steering ram fit, but now that it's on its own weight, I don't like it. So ram's gonna move. So there's just a few things, and that's gonna happen. I mean, come on, this is the first Toyota pickup truck to ever have a Jeep 3.8 underneath the hood. So these are the things you're gonna run into. So anyway,
and for that I have to say, like, everything went fairly smooth for.
It runs well.
Yeah, it does.
So a couple little things to take care of, and then Marvin will come back to the shop, and then we'll go forward with it.
Exactly. So, to be continued. Well, guys, just at the end here, I was able to get Justin's Cummins swapped F450 here as a rental up until I come back, which is amazing. This guy is just going above and beyond for me. At least I have a way to get home now, and I can actually keep it up until I come back from Germany. And then as soon as I'm back from Germany, I'm gonna be back up here, and then we're gonna work out all the kinks, and then we're finally going wheeling in Sushi with Ian Johnson. So I want to hear all of your thoughts in the comments below.